Hey guys, welcome to another Black Flag Ordnance video here. Today we are going to do something a little different. So instead of doing a review on a handgun, we're going to go over some of our favorite race guns that we personally own. These things can be factory, it can be modified. Overall though, I just want to see how they test against each other. We do have a modified and we do have factory. So I'm kind of interested to see how they compare to each other and if it's worth actually modifying or just buying a competition gun. So before we get into it, I do want to say, peep the merch, okay? So we are thinking about making shirts. If you guys are interested, please let me know. We can get them in any color. Now, for right now, we do have them in black. It has the logo on the front and as well as the logo on the back. So if you guys are interested, leave a comment down below and we can try to get the ball rolling on that if anybody is interested. So from here, we do have 4 handguns on the table that I do want to compare to each other. They have been on our channel before, so you probably will recognize a couple of them, but let's see what we got here. So first, we do, if you want to come over here. So we do have the TTI, of course, that's been one of our favorite on the channel so far, and kind of mixed with it. So mixed in with the TTI, we do have the TP9 SFX. This is the older brother of pretty much what became the TTI in the end. So these two we're going to kind of put together as well as go over the differences, being that this is the older brother, and what kind of changes they did do compared to the TP9 to the TTI. From there, our beloved CZ Shadow 2, we do have that here. Once again, we just did a review on that, so if you guys want to check that out, link in the description below. So we do have that compared to the TTI, just like we did in the other video. However, we did add a 226 Elite. This is, I guess they consider it the stainless steel version. This has been modified, so this is not from the factory. Now, the only reason I did put this in is because I know you can get 226s now. I believe it's the X5s or the Legions. They do have them kind of more towards like the race standpoint. So I figured I'd throw this in here, guys. So from here, guys, we are going to start from left to right. So we are going to start with the TTI. So, I mean, really, we have gone over a lot of the key features of these handguns. So if you are interested, I won't get too in depth with them on this video, but I will have videos in the description for you guys so you can check out the whole review of that gun. So starting with the TTI, once again, I'm just kind of comparing between the TP9 and the TTI. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and see how they really compare to each other. All right, so obviously, first up, we do have the TTI Canik. Like I said, we've done a video on this. So if you guys want to learn more about it, click that link down below and check it out. But for all intents and purposes, we're just going to put a mag through it and see how it compares to the TP9 SFX. So let's get to it. All right, so it's our workhorse, man. That thing is so fun and fast to shoot. Yeah, from here, let's check out the TP9 SFX and get to it.
All right, so here's my first shots of the TTI Canik. We'll see how it goes. Very easy to shoot gun, very smooth. I like it a lot. Trigger, very light, nice return. Recoil, very light. Easy gun to shoot, I would say. Let's check out the TP9.
Hey everybody, I am going to attempt to shoot the Canik TTI Combat. It's got the red dot, mag, you've heard it in the video already. Honestly, I love it. I mean, trigger pull feels really good. The trigger reset's really short. The optic is great. I believe this one is by Canik, or it's at least they work with Canik to make this sight for this gun. Yeah, I have absolutely no complaints. Feels really solid, really good. Good weight. Yeah, next we're going to go on to the TP9 SFX.
So this is the TP9 SFX. As you can see, it does have a very similar design to the TTI. There is a little bit of a aftermarket hoe grip on it, is what it is. But you do have the slide serrations and everything, as well as a little bit of porting to help kind of cool it, but not really anything when it comes to like compensator. Definitely longer. It does actually feel a little bit heavier too. So curious to see how this is, and let's try it out. Definitely a little bit more recoil than the TTI. The trigger and everything feels pretty similar. The iron sights, I believe, are also really similar to the TTI. But overall, still a pretty familiar shooting experience compared to the TTI. From here, I'm going to have Tuan actually try it and see how he does with the TTI versus the TP9 SFX, and see if he can kind of give his input as well.
All right, so now we're going to shoot the Canik TP9 SFX. Right off the bat, hoe grip feels my hand a lot better. I don't have really large hands. I don't have bear paws, but definitely feels a lot better, so we'll see how it goes. I missed a lot more with that one, just a few shots, but that might be because of me. I'm not really good at shooting iron sights, which is strange to say, but iron sight's not really my thing. Obviously the red dot made it easier on the Canik. I'm sure a red dot would have made the difference here too, but for a stock configuration gun, fast, accurate as far as the gun is, not the shooter. But yeah, let's go on to the CZ Shadow 2.
All right, so this is the Canik TP9 SFX. It is my personal handgun. I've had it for a couple years now. It is the predecessor to the TTI in some regards. I've liked it for a long time. It's a sturdy gun. It's held up for as long as I've had it. We'll give it a good shooting. All right, so like I said, I'm maybe a little biased. I've really enjoyed this gun. I have to say the TTI has a lot of improvements. This one does have a lot of muzzle rise during the shooting. There are ways to, remedy that with additional modifications that they do make available for this gun, but the TTI kind of just comes with that already. This is optic plate ready, and again, TTI comes with it already. So, if you want to start from a base, start from somewhere, I personally like this one, but if you want good out of the box, I would go with the TTI.
All right, rolling.
That's scary. All right, so moving on from the striker fire, we do have the CZ Shadow 2. Now, once again, we just did a video on this, so link in the description to check it out. The main difference between the next two guns we're shooting is that these are external hammers rather than striker fire, and both are single action and double action. So there is going to be a little bit of a difference in the trigger. Once again, if you saw our video, you'll know that, right? But so with this one, we're gonna check it out. So far, I have been shooting really weird with this red dot on here. For whatever reason, for me, I have to aim kind of towards the bottom of the target, but everyone else can aim at the middle. So I don't know if it's my eyesight. I couldn't really tell you. But we're gonna run it anyways and kind of go over the recoil, let alone kind of like the speed of the handgun. So let's get into it. Whew. Can't believe I actually hit as many as I did. Recoil, honestly, I do think this has more recoil than the TTI. Personally, I mean, it is a little bit of a shorter barrel, and you know, you don't have a compensator or anything on it. Now, the weight of this thing is pretty heavy. So just like the TP9 SFX, when you put a red dot on, you do lose your rear sight. So for me, that is a little bit of a negative, but when you're looking at a competition standpoint, you know, I don't think it would matter too much. But you know, the best thing that I can say about this handgun is the features that it does come with. So if you actually take a look here, that magazine release is super far out. So you have no problem finding that mag release. So, you know, I give it props for that. So, you know, when it comes to that, awesome. You know, the trigger pull, being that it is single action, it is very crisp, very nice. So the target acquisition and the trigger reset, when you're coming to that compared to the TTI, I think they're pretty close together. You know, once again, I already did a video on this handgun, but you know, from here, let's have the other guys shoot it and see what they think of it. I know one of them hasn't shot it before, and that would be Ethan. So other than that, let's get to it.
All right, so this is the CZ Shadow 2 Compact. This is my personal gun. Only modifications I did to it was obviously the Vortex Defender ST and the Kraken hand grips here and the base plates. So nothing much other than that, stock gun. Give it a shot. So it is a heavier gun, shorter gun too. So the recoil, it's a lot stronger than the Canik TTI for sure, and definitely the other TP9 as well. I like it. I like heavier guns. I carry like a Beretta M9. I carry bricks. I love fucking bricks. So this is a great gun in my opinion. Of course, it's my gun, so I am very biased. But I love these metal frame pistols than the polymer striker fired garbage. But we'll have Ethan give it a shot and see how he does.
All right, so CZ Shadow 2 Compact. Very different handgun to what I'm used to. I'm pretty much usually just in the Canik world. I don't have too many other things on the side. A little bit on the smaller side. But, you know, I struggle with smaller guns in general, but this one does feel very comfortable. So, you know, we'll give it a shoot and see how it feels. All right, I just complained about it. I hit a lot more of my shots than I did on the Canik, so if that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what does. Very good feeling gun. I really enjoy the look of the CZs a lot. I like the styling that they put on it. The open hammer is a very big plus for me. All around, I think it's a very enjoyable gun to shoot.
Alrighty, so from here we do have the 226 Elite. This is a older model. As you can see, I don't even have an optics cut on this thing. Now, I did put a flat-faced lighter trigger in this thing, and boy, is it light. So I did put the extended grip with the flared magwell on it, drummed it down for smoother insertion there. This is built to be as fast as can be. I did put a fiber optic sight on the front. This is and still is one of my favorite guns. I love the scorpion style grips to this thing. I think it really set it off, especially with like the stainless steel type look. So let's shoot this one and see how it does. It can be a little finicky just because of everything that's in it, but let's get to it. Oh my. Overall impressions, yes, I've had this gun a while, but after shooting the CZ compared to this, now being that this is a full size, I feel like I have a lot less recoil than the CZ. Even though this doesn't have a compensator or anything on it, obviously it is around the same weight, I would think, as the CZ. I don't have a scale on me, but just kind of feeling hand to hand, it's not a major difference, but I do like the recoil management on this. Target acquisition is pretty quick. Now, once again, this is a little finicky, so I wouldn't really rely on it too much. But being that it is also like 10 years old, it's, you know, if I freshened up the parts in it, I'm sure it would run a lot better. I just can't put cheap ammo in this. If it runs cheap ammo, it doesn't really like it. But, you know, if you're getting just normal standard ammo, kind of the middle grade to high grade, it'll run just fine. Let's hand it over to Twan, see what he thinks about it.
All right, so I'm gonna take some shots with the 226 Elite here. I did have a 226 Classic, so I'm kind of familiar with the platform. If you want to check out that video, links in the description below. I feel kind of weird about this kind of flat face 320 trigger that's in it. I like it, but it's just kind of coming from that 226 Classic and my preconceived notions. It's kind of strange. Wouldn't trust it for concealed carry. Obviously, it's a race gun. Wouldn't want a light double action trigger pointed at my genitals, so we'll give it a shot here, see how she runs. So yeah, trigger pull is definitely different, lighter, so you don't have that chance of jerking the gun as I tend to do. The blacked out rear sight combined with that fiber optic front sight definitely feels at home for me. On the stock CZ, that's what it comes with. Target acquisition with that fiber optic front sight, easy peasy. I did better with these irons than I did with the Canik for sure. I think it's because of the fiber optic, I'm just used to that. So we'll have Ethan give it a shot.
All right, and finally we're going to the Sig Sauer P226. I haven't personally used a lot of Sig, but I've had family who's used them, and I've, you know, shot their guns before. You know, to be completely honest, I do like them, but I think there's a certain level of extra to them that I don't necessarily care for every time. But, you know, all in all, they're generally pretty good guns for the most part, so let's see how this one goes.
Out there, double feed, triple feed.
Something like that, Jesus. It like flipped this one backwards.
Hey, you didn't rack it.
All right. Yeah, again, like I was saying earlier, I could see why a lot of people would really enjoy this gun. You know, for me, it's just the ergonomics are not exactly how much I'd like. But that could be just based on my shooting style. The muzzle rise is a little intense for me. I think there's just a lot of leverage force on it. That's generally why I like the striker fired ones, is you can go higher on the grip. But you know, I'd say this is an extremely solid gun. And I think anybody who purchases it is going to be happy.
So the whole thing of doing this video is, yes, we only did about 1 mag per gun, but I wanted to really get the preface of, you know, if you're looking to get into the competition world or even just more of like the race gun, I wanted to kind of get an opinion from a couple of the members here at Black Flag Ordnance and really kind of go over a little bit of the differences. Obviously, as we know, the two Caniks are really similar, and there are some things that you can compare between the CZ and the 226. So we did have a consensus, and as far as if you're looking to get into it without breaking the bank, the TTI is definitely probably your best bet when it comes to that. Coming in around $700, depending on where you're looking, you know, and you get everything with it as far as the box and all the gear. That is going to be a great starter starting out. Now, same thing with the TP9. It did come with a lot as well, so that's why I'm saying they're kind of going side by side, but you do get a couple of the goodies like Ethan said from the TTI. Moving on to the CZ and the 226, if you want to actually come over here and I'll kind of talk as we go. So moving on from the Caniks and going to the 226 and the CZ, both have pros and cons in respect to each platform. As the 226 is pretty well known throughout the world, you know, obviously CZ is also has a big name for itself and what they are doing. Now, if you're looking at going straight out of the box compared to modified, as you can modify both of these handguns, it is going to be pretty costly both ways. Now, when you're looking at in modern days, you know, you do have the 226 in the X5 variant and everything, but you're going to be looking at north at about $2,000 for one of those, depending on where you're looking and depending on what model 226 you're after. The CZ is about $1,300. So when you're looking at that kind of retrospective, okay, you could go with a cheaper 226, which is they're not really cheap. They're about $1,000 just for the regular one. But, you know, depending on how much you want to put into modification wise, you know, that is a good platform in its own right. And same with the CZ. CZ right out the box, you know, it is, in my opinion, really stout. Where the 226 is as well, the trigger and everything when it comes to a stock 226 compared to the modified, you know, you're spending money in that regards to the handgun you're purchasing. So, you know, it's going to add to that bigger price point where the CZ has a stout trigger right out the gate. You're getting your money's worth out of the CZ straight out the box. Yes, we did put a red dot on it, and even the new 226s, it's the same way. A lot of them, especially like the X5s and stuff, I do believe you lose the rear sight just like you would in the CZ. So if you're looking for that competition, or in this case, you know, when we were out in the range today, before we started filming, the TTI's red dot actually started malfunctioning. It was just the cap on the battery, so it was like every shot it was going off, coming back on. But you know, in that moment, if you are timed, if you are looking for those shots, you definitely want those rear backup sights, at least in my opinion. That's what I'm just always about. I don't like losing my iron sights to a red dot, but you know, it's one of those things that you're gonna have to gamble with. Now, I do know that they make base plates that do have rear sights on it, so you know, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a matter of finding what red dot, what handgun in that kind of retrospect is good for you. Personally, when it comes to these, we did say the TTI is gonna be the winner for the beginners. As far as the other guns, let's take a quick vote. So you're saying probably the CZ, right? If you had to buy one that wasn't, like money wasn't a thing, which one would you get? So when it comes to if money was no object, which one would we get? It is a little split, I won't lie. Ethan, he did say he would do probably the Canik, just for, hey, you know, the amount of money that, you know, you could put into the Canik and you're already getting a great platform. Tuan, he does agree with the CZ. Me personally, I would have to say that for me, even if money was no object, I would have to go with the Canik. I know that's a little counterproductive, but when you're looking at your bang for your buck, everything, the TTI is probably one of the best that you could get for the money's worth. I just really like, one, the design. Two, it is so flat shooting, it's not funny. And to be honest with you, the striker fire for me, that doesn't really make or break the deal, but I do like that it won't snag, especially coming out of a holster, so you don't have to worry about an external hammer. I am a huge fan of external hammers, but I do believe that in a competition scenario where every second matters, the striker fire system, let alone with a TTI and how smooth the TTI trigger is, that is definitely, in my opinion, the best one to get, either on a budget or even if you don't have a budget. If you guys haven't checked this out, check it out. And I would say that overall, even how fast it shoots, it's insane. So other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. And thank you for all your guys' support. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Really get us out there. You know, once again, let us know in the comments if you do want some shirts. We are kind of in the process of figuring out what we want to do. And it would be awesome to see you guys rep some shirts. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.